Hi everyone, welcome to episode 5 of In the Key of C. Today we're going to be looking at the C major scale and all the scales that are built off each of the degrees on the C major scale. These are also known as modes, and some of the terms can sound a little bit scary, like Lydian and Mixolydian and Phrygian. That's okay. I like to just think of them as being the scales that are built off each of the different degrees of the major scale, in our case the C major scale. Now, as a recap, we're in the key of C, so effectively we have no sharps or flats. We have the C major scale, which is built up off 5 tones and 2 semitones. A tone is 2 frets distance between the notes, and a semitone is 1 fret distance. And over the last few lessons, we've learnt the chords in their various positions. This is the C major 7. So hopefully you've had some time to get them under your fingers. And we'll be looking at them a little bit more in depth in some upcoming lessons, but for today we're just going to be looking at the scale. In the last lesson we looked at how the chords are built up, and there was quite a lot in that last lesson, so I would advise to keep going back if you do get lost, and it hopefully covered a good explanation on how we look at chords and how they're built and put together, especially in relation to the C major scale. So first of all, today we're going to be looking at our lovely C major scale. I'm going to do it up here on the 8th fret of the low E string, and as always we come up the major scale just to the 7th degree. That means when we come back down, all our strong notes are on the right beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and that's important to not only be aware of the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, but to be aware of the degrees as well, as you'll see. So with the major scale, I'd like you to not only learn it in this position up here, on the starting with the first on the 8th fret of the E string. I'd also like you to learn it down here, which is the 3rd fret of the A string. It's the exact same position down here, but then also learn it up here. So you'll see there's a pattern that this is similar to the chords that we've done. So we would learn it, okay? And that is on, our root would be on the D string at the 10th fret and moving up to the 7th nicely and back. Okay, now with the scale, there's plenty of ways to expand and use exercises to really get our head and our fingers around each scale, but I would suggest with using the scale position up here at the 8th fret, I would suggest not only starting the scale on the with using your 2nd finger in this position. I would suggest also starting the scale with our 4th finger, okay, and play it across literally the same 3 strings, but we're going to be starting with our 4th finger. So it's just covering a different area of the fretboard. Okay, so we would learn it in this position. We would learn it starting with the 4th finger, so we're kind of moving backwards. And then we've got a big stretch, so this is a good exercise as well. If you're not used to stretching 2 frets and then another 2 frets, Okay, and also likewise starting the scale with our first finger. So then we would move up this way. Okay, and would be good to learn it down here as well. Okay, and likewise in the position up here as well. So it's just a way of opening up the fretboard. You'll see that then you're covering the C major over not just the frets the 4 frets that we initially used. We're now actually covering it over a larger distance, okay, which is almost half the fretboard now essentially, okay, just by, okay. Now, after we have explored that, I think that's a wonderful exercise. We will be applying that to also all the modes. I'm not going to go through all the modes, I'm just going to show you a few of them, and especially some of the ones that are used commonly. But I would like you to, with each different mode or scale degree that we look at, to do that exercise across them, okay? So we've got the C major, which is our first. Now, if we go to the second degree, which we know from last lesson is D minor 7, this also has a scale attached to it as well. It is the same notes of the C major scale, because nothing's changed, we haven't changed key, and this is built off stacked thirds. But now we have a new scale in the sense that those notes are arranged differently accordingly for that D minor now. Okay, so this is called a Dorian. All right, and it's a popular minor 7 mode. Okay, and if you look at it, we can now look and assess what the notes are within the actual mode itself. So when we do change the scale degree, yes, that's the second degree of the C major scale, but because we're in the context of a new chord, now we'll be also looking at the degrees starting from the D. So if we look at how this chord's built up, or the scale's built up, we've got a 1, we've got a 2, we've got a flattened third, we've got a 4th, we've got a 5th, we've got a 6th, and then we've got a flattened 7th. Okay. Isn't that cool? So we've just moved from a C major, which is built up off a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we've moved up to the next scale degree. We've got a new chord which is built off a 1, a 2nd, a flattened 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a flattened 7th. And if we look at the arpeggio for this, we can see that for a D minor 7, we might know that the arpeggio is built, or the chord is built up off the 1st, the flattened 3rd, the 5th, and the flattened 7th. And there we have it, they're all part of our scale degrees, okay? Now this just moves up accordingly. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but you can see the next one from the 3rd degree, that's known as Phrygian, and likewise we've got, if we know from our last lesson, that's another E minor 7, so straight away we're going to know that it's going to have a 1st, a flattened 3rd, a 5th, and a flattened 7th in it. And the scale is according. I'm just moving up linearly, but I would like you to explore all the different the locations. As I said at the start, likewise with this, we will also learn it using our 4th finger to start the scale. And likewise, that one's probably a little bit tricky. I mean, you don't have a great deal of options unless you want to do that. So I would suggest with the D minor, we just have the 2, which is starting with the 1st finger, or starting with the 4th finger going backwards, okay? But that may vary in the different positions and the different string roots, whether it's starting on an A root or a D root. Okay, so as I said, we have our E minor 7 now. Okay, and that if we look at the chord, the actual scale degrees, we've got a first, we've now got a flattened second, got a flattened third, got our fourth, got our fifth, then we've got a sixth, and then a flattened seventh. Okay. So that's going to give us a different flavour again than if we're back at that second degree minor 7. Okay. So I'd really like you to just work your way through this, work your way through all the different degrees, from C major to the second degree, which is known as Dorian, third degree Phrygian, then we've got a Lydian, which is a F major 7, okay, then we've got Mixolydian, okay, and the rest. Our natural minors built off the 6, and we've got that half diminished as well, which is good fun to explore. So I hope this gives you a little bit to work on in between the next video. Just as I said, if you want to learn the actual mode terminology, that's fine, that's great. You'll probably need it, as there's plenty of tutorials online and in theory textbooks that are going to use those, but they are just a fancy name of explaining the scale that's built off each degree on the major scale, okay? So I hope that helps, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next one. Okay, thank you.
The bass is talking.